Comrades, I think like the last time, my comrades have come to my assistance in putting their thoughts, in explaining what is in the entire international considered as the most complex situation that is evolving, that has evolved. To draw the outlines of the perspectives for India, which is a multilingual, multinational, multi-ethnic continent, is not a simple task. Of course, we can draw our attention to the lacunas, to the drawbacks, or missing out points on this or that detail. It's not a simple task. So I would congratulate both Comrade Anand and Comrade Yuvraj, who have put their time and intellectual energy to give a detailed thought out of the processes that are unfolding in the present period. Of course, the discussion to a great extent in the political perspectives discussion centered around the issue of 2014 elections and the question who is going to be the Prime Minister, whether it will be the Modi of BJP or the Rahul Gandhi of the Congress. Those were two main issues that we concentrated on. The discussion concentrated on. There is a reason for that. We are also human beings. And even though we call ourselves as Marxists, we are affected by the day-to-day media blitz and the day-to-day campaign that goes on, that beyond these two formations in politics, there is nothing else. So naturally, the comrades really centered the entire discussion or their points on the issue of these two personalities. Elections and the results in any country for that matter, especially in a country like India, is a very hard-bound game. You cannot just predict just beforehand, especially almost 15 months ahead of an election, that what is going to happen. But Marxists have a duty to have a roadmap of how things are going to develop in the coming period, even in the context of the superstructure of the bourgeois society, that is the political parties and how they are going to fare in the elections and everything. Communists were very clear in their approach in readoffs, in both Comrade Yuvraj and Anand, that for us, the nitty-gritty details of the political parties and the general euphoria that is created by the media, by the bourgeois in the society in relation to the economy, the hype that is created in relation to the how Indian economy is some sort of a engine of growth that's going to pull out the world economic crisis itself from its slumber. All of that hype, I think we have not bought that story. I think that was very clear from the comrades who led off on these issues. Our analysis in relation to the economy give a correct picture of how things are going to develop in the coming period. I totally agree with what Yuvraj gave a picture of the oncoming situation. But yet, the story that is being put forward as late as the 31st of January, wherein I saw one web site, which is a spokesperson of the bourgeois, rediff.com, which speaks of India being the hot spot for investment. They give out, according to their own statistics, to their own convenience, they give out certain statistics to justify their position. They say, while the growth has averaged 8.4% between financial year 2006 to 2011, even in the face of a severe and persistent global slowdown, GDP growth in 2012-13 is expected to be 5.56%. But whereas the economic factors that appeared somewhere around December, even Goldman Sachs and other credit rating agencies said it will be a miracle if the Indian economy touches 4.7% growth. That's the reality. Whereas these soothsayers for the bourgeois are giving a favorable picture so that they can turn the popular middle class corporate image in relation to the Congress. I bring it, this factor, I mean there are many factors, there are many facts, I mean lies that this website and the other bourgeois commentators would like us to believe. Why they are bringing it out is, which we discussed. In fact, it would have been better if Arun were to be here because he writes certain very pertinent questions on that particular issue. That, on the one hand, this is a dilemma that we all face. Whether the neoliberal sheen, the height of the neoliberal economy has lost its sheen, or still it is prevailing in the minds of the people. While we may be very critical of the Indian economy, and we can criticize it and we can analyze it to the extent that it's going to go down the drains, but at the same time, there is a sizable section of the population, whether you put it at 150 or 200 or 250 million, which depends on what kind of measure that you apply or what kind of barometer that you apply. That 250 million population somewhere is the opinion maker as far as the bourgeois politics is concerned. All the rich media, the national televisions, the IBN, the CNN, IBN, what is Times, NDTV, and various other, who just barrage, continuously pound you with the stories that the government or the bourgeois want us to believe, shows that India is in a bracket of the super rich. is even though it is in the garb of a democratic nature, but it is a deceitful exercise as far as the ordinary people are concerned. So, from that context, from that understanding, this media, this 250 million population, which has a spending money in their pockets, disposable income in their pockets, will create an illusion, not just for themselves, but to the rest of the population. We must realize that we are fighting against a very big odds. It will not be in the power of the now disorganized working class to stop this barrage of lies, which is going to affect the consciousness of the people in the coming period. Why I say this is, on the one hand, I mean, we did agree on various things that there is no section of the political establishment which is anti-neoliberal, be it left or right or center, if there is a center. So in such a situation, coming back to the other not so significant forces that are inimical to the interests of the state, one is the Maoists. They are not worried about the economy and its how it's going, because it's still India is a feudal country for them. They don't recognize India as advanced to the stage of capitalism. So they don't even take it to the analysis that what they should be doing in a capitalist economy. And I mean, of course, there is another force which we all try to fight out, but we have to sometimes engage with, is the NGOs. They are a kind of a cushion, a buffer for the capitalist society itself, capitalist economy itself. And they would like to shout about the inequalities in the society, but at the same time, they will not put out any alternative. They will seek kind of an adjustment with the system itself, try to do a patch-up. In fact, they play more of a, what you call, 60s left role. Now the NGOs are playing, you know. But now the left has moved to the almost to the right-wing social democracy, so the NGOs have taken that space. So we have quite a number of odds that we have to argue against. So in such a situation, we need to have a very we need to have a sense of proportion when we put out our perspectives, when we have a prediction for future. While I agree on the economic and the political perspectives that the comrades have drawn, and also in relation to the discussion, the line of discussion that it took place, but when it comes to the election, when it comes to the results of an election, we have to be a bit conditional. We do not know, because India, one of the factors that we need to count in the Indian parliamentary context is the question of the caste itself. Caste issue is a major issue in this society. Somebody informally, they were discussing yesterday that there is no caste problem somewhere. Huh?
Sri Lanka.
No.
Pratap.
Except Tamil Nadu, there is no caste system.
In West Bengal and that side.
No.